Okay, well, it is my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, Justin Luster. Justin is the Senior Vice President of Product and Marketing and a member of the board at Sawtooth Software, a software survey company based in Provo, Utah. He grew up in Ephraim, graduated from Manti High School and Snow College, so he has sat where you are sitting. Literally, he's been in your shoes, in your seats. Justin holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from the University of Utah. He lives in Heber City with his wife and 5 children. One of his kids, Anna, is here joining us today. Thanks, Anna. She's also an entrepreneur who started a company with her sisters called the Port Studio, which is really cool. We're excited about that, which is supporting people with cancer and loved ones of people with cancer. Justin loves to ski, play basketball and tennis, and be with his family. So please welcome Justin Luster.
Let me. Okay, I'm all wired up. Hope you guys can hear me, and I'm ready to go. I'm excited to be here. I have my parents here. My dad was a physics professor here at Snow College, and my mom taught in the elementary school. So come from 2 great teachers, and a lot of what I have I owe to them. Happy to have Anna here as well, and we'll start from there. So anyway, I'm grateful to be here. I enjoyed my time at Snow College, and I'm a computer science graduate from University of Utah, and I'm going to tell the story here. So I love to talk, and I have a lot to say, so I hope I don't go too fast, and I can cover at least something helpful for you, right? I'm here for you to hopefully to inspire you, and hopefully you can get something out of what I say. Okay, so first of all, I'm not an entrepreneur. But I believe I'm entrepreneurial, and I think that that's a thing that you can do. So yeah, I grew up. I don't know if this. Oh yeah. Okay, so I grew up in Ephraim. I went to Manti High School. While at Manti, I started a club called the Moo Club. So yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I started Moo, Manti Outdoors Organization. It was awesome. Went to Snow College. And then I met this girl named Elise, and I'm now married to her. I met her at Snow College in the computer lab. And I'm going to talk today about vision, hard work, and risk. And all 3 of those were involved with meeting Elise and marrying her, right? I met Elise, and then I went 1 year at Snow College. Then I went on an LDS mission to Argentina. And then I came back to Snow to finish my 2nd year. My first story. I have a little pressure, okay? My dad is a physics teacher. I know the person I want to marry. I'm in physics, calculus-based physics, but not from my dad, from another professor. I got straight A's in high school, and I was getting a C or something in physics. And I was stressed out. This is one of the hardest moments of my life, surprisingly. I've had some other hard moments, but I was stressed out, and there was that fear that I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't going to make it. I was going to be a failure. I was getting a C. I was getting horrible test scores. And so I decided to drop out of my physics class. And then it got worse. My depression got worse because now I'm a real failure. I dropped out. It was really hard. And I have just a slide there. That's not me, but a moment of depression. And then Garth Sorensen. Does anybody know Garth Sorensen? I was struggling, and what I didn't know that I was looking for, this is maybe a pro tip, I was looking for a mentor. I didn't know that that was a thing. But I was looking for someone who I could be like. And I didn't know. I was going to be an electrical engineer, and I didn't even know what electrical engineers did. I was just like this lost, trying to figure things out. And then all of a sudden, I locked on to Garth Sorensen. Why? I was thinking that computer science was for nerds, and I didn't want to be a nerd. I wanted to be a business guy, super cool, entrepreneur. Computer science seemed nerdy. Well, Garth Sorensen wasn't nerdy. He was cool, he was athletic, he was social, he was really awesome. And I was like, wow, maybe I can do computer science and not be a nerd. And I just locked onto that. So I switched majors from electrical engineering into computer science. And guess what? Prerequisite for computer science, calculus-based physics. And so I had to get back in my physics class. But I got back in, I pushed through and figured it out. And thanks to Garth for that. So anyway, I then got married to Elise, and we went up to the University of Utah, and I finished my computer science degree up there in the year 2000. Then a recruiter came on campus, and he said, do you think you could live in a small town? That was like his #1 requirement. And I'm like, I'm from Ephraim. I know all about small towns. And so essentially, I mean, maybe he liked something else about me, but I was willing to move up to Sequim, Washington, a little small town in Washington State, and start with a very, very small company. So I didn't start Sawtooth Software, but I was there early on when there was like 4 employees, and we now have 60 employees, and I've been there ever since. It's the only job I've ever had. I'm sitting on almost 24 years. Okay? I had an opinion that after 10 years of living there, I wanted to come back to where I was from, back to Utah. So we all talked about it, and we decided to move the entire company back to Utah, and we moved to Provo. So we're now headquartered in Provo. I live in Heber City, and thanks to COVID, I can now work most days from home. It's a beautiful life. I just go down to Provo once a week, and I work the rest from home. It's really, really nice. I believe in the hybrid thing. I don't think it's all good to work at home all the time, but a little hybrid's nice. Okay, I have to show you this, my favorite picture of my beautiful family. I have twin daughters that got married a 1.5 years ago, and that's all of us. Okay, so again, keep me on schedule here. I want to make sure to look at my clock, just have a lot to say. Okay, I might need more than that, but. Big message. Here's the big message I want to deliver. So a little bit about me, you already know that. Now I'm going to talk about the message. It would be great if you could start a company. That would be awesome. I'd encourage it, but I've never really done it myself. But what I do want to say is you can be entrepreneurial all over the place, and you don't have to like tick off your wife and risk all your money, and you don't have to have this crazy risk story. That's probably the #1 reason I haven't started my own company is I'm just a little bit afraid of the risk. But you can be super entrepreneurial in your life, inside of a company that you work for. You can do it in your life, in your home, at church. You can be entrepreneurial, and I'd encourage you to do that. So just boiling down 3 things, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but if I had to say I have 3 points on what you need to do, it would be to have a vision, to work really hard, and to take some risk. Takes a little bit of risk. And you can apply this to like all things. Going back to my wife, right? I had a vision. I wanted to go on a date with her, And then I worked hard to try to get that date, and I took a risk, right? In fact, when I asked her, I point blank walked up to her in the computer lab. You guys are all on the phones these days, but I walked up to the computer lab, and she worked there. She had a little badge on her shirt that said Elise, and I said, hi, Elise, do you want to go on a date? Boom, right? I didn't even get to know her. I just went up to her and asked her, and she said, well, I have a boyfriend. Oh, right? I took a huge risk, and I was just like, crestfallen, and then she said, but he's on a mission, and I said, oh. So, right, you can apply this to all kinds of things. Again, I'm not saying don't start a business, but you don't have to start a business to be entrepreneurial. I want to talk about an entrepreneurial thing I believe that I was a part of that has to do with church. So I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I live in a neighborhood in Heber, and in my neighborhood, probably half of us are members of this church, and the other half are not. And we go up to our church, we become friends, and we don't know everybody else. And there's a big divide between those that go to church and those that don't go to church. And we thought that was a problem. So I was on a committee, and we started being entrepreneurial. How can we all be friends and all get together? And so we decided to start these activities that were neighborhood activities, not church activities. In the church, we have some money, we have some organization, and we decided to use our skills, our money, our organization to bring the neighborhood together. So we've invented these really fantastic activities. We started out by, and we had a few formula in our success, right? We said, we will have these activities at the park in our neighborhood. Why? Because it's not at our church. It's a neutral ground. We won't even have it at one of our houses. We will establish a neutral territory where people can come and not feel threatened. We also said they're going to be so high quality that people are just going to want to come. My job was to do the advertising. So you can see I built this like wood sign. It's supposed to be high quality. And it's just been amazing. And so we continue to do this. We started with Christmas activity, dead of December at night in the park. And I'll show you how we did that. But we've also done parades, like a neighborhood parade. Who does that? And we had a summer concert where Donny Osmond showed up. I mean, it has been super, super cool. So that's just been a huge success. I want to show you just a little taste of what that is like. Again, bringing people together, entrepreneurial. I did not get paid for this. So you can have great satisfaction through being entrepreneurial, and you don't even get paid. It just feels so good to do cool things, right? So I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to click this button, and then I'm going to make sure my sound is up. Uh-oh. Yeah, here we go. So we brought Santa Claus in, we brought in fires, we brought in horses, we brought in soup. And one of the people that aren't a member of our church that might have felt like an outsider, they came, they had a great time. They had their kids there. They got into the car to leave, and their little daughter said, "Oh my gosh, I forgot something. Stop the car. I didn't tell Santa Claus that I loved him." So they stopped the car, and this little girl gets out and tells Santa Claus. So anyway, smashing success. It is very entrepreneurial, and it's something that we were able to pull off. Not me alone, but with a group. Just really quickly here, we also had a vision to host a wedding reception in our backyard, and I had this idea to punch a hole in my back fence. We built these brick pillars, me and my wife. We painted them to match our house. We put in this stairway, and then we just turned on the magic. And again, I didn't start a company. I didn't get paid for this. It's so satisfying to have a vision, to work hard, and to take some risk. We took some risk. It was going to be cold that night. We brought in fire pits. There was lights. But that's the yard, and it's just like this glowing piece of magic that we created. You can create amazing things by being entrepreneurial. Okay, so enough about like that. I'm going to move into Sawtooth Software. So like I say, I've been working for Sawtooth Software for my entire career. I guess it has its pros and cons. A con is it's kind of nice to go around to different companies and to kind of learn different things from different companies. I guess that's good. But in my experience, like all I know is it also can be good to get into something and stick to it and become better and better and better at it, not to flit around and move jobs all the time. That was my experience. I have a little bit of a business. So I wanted to go into business at the beginning, but I thought I want to have a hard skill. So that's why I went into computer science. So I went into computer science to a means to an end. In the end, I want to do business, and I'm pretty lucky I'm now doing business. I also had this sense for, well, Sawtooth Software came in and they offered me a job, and they said, if you do a good job and we like you, we'll offer you a percentage of the company. So I own 8% of Sawtooth Software. I am an owner. I didn't start it, but I'm a partial owner. And I saw that that would be a great thing. So another tip, ownership creates wealth. And you want to own your home, for example, not rent your whole life. You want to start to own things. Ownership can create wealth, and that 8% has been very, very nice. Okay, so what is Sawtooth Software? We do online surveys. Raise your hand. Have you ever heard of SurveyMonkey? Have you ever heard of Qualtrics? Okay, we're in that space. We do online surveys. So if you want to ask people what they think of your product or service, or if you want to ask them what kind of birthday party they want to have, or where they want to go on vacation, or whatever, you can use our software to find out what people think, and then you get those answers back, and then you make your own decision. But you have that research data as a smart brain in the room about what people think. I don't love following people. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be a little cool, a little bit different. But I want you to think about something. I drive down Provo Canyon every once in a while, right? Because I go in one day a week, and I go down there all the time for different things. And I was driving down one morning. I would argue it's one of the most beautiful commutes in America to drive by that lake and the mountains and go down into Provo. But I was thinking about this subject, and I was coming. There was a big curve in the road, and there was a bunch of cars, and they had their brake lights on. And that car had its brake lights. That car had its brake lights. So I know what he's thinking. I know what he's thinking. I know what he's thinking. Gee, 10 people all have their brake lights on. I don't know why, but do you think I'm going to make smarter decisions based on what they're thinking? Yes, right? They're giving me signals about what they're thinking, and that can help me make super smart decisions. I can do anything I want. I can not brake or I can brake, but at least I know what they're thinking. So finding out what other people are thinking turns out to be super helpful if you want to be an entrepreneur or anything else, right? It's a super helpful thing to know. Okay, so can you be entrepreneurial? What do you think? I mean, I don't know. When I read on the definitions, an entrepreneur is someone who starts a company. But when do they stop being an entrepreneur? Is it the day they sign the paperwork to start the company, then they're done? No, I would argue they have to continue to be entrepreneurial for a whole heck of a lot of time, probably the rest of their career into their company. So again, I didn't start Sawtooth Software, but I'm being entrepreneurial within the company. Okay? So this is what Sawtooth Software's website looked like the day I joined the company in the year 2000. The internet was just invented. In fact, one of the reasons I think I even got the job is because I knew a little bit about doing HTML and creating a web page. They're like, wow, you know something about the internet? You're hired. I can tell you this. I was not the smartest candidate. So if you're feeling a little bit insecure about your brains and your smarts, you can join my club. Guess what? It's nice to be decently smart, but I've hired a bunch of people, and there's other things that are way more important. Work ethic comes to the top of mind, and social skills. When I hire someone, if someone walks in, they're like, he could be the smartest guy ever, but do I want to work with him? No, right? So maybe school has changed, but I found that school was all about teaching these hard skills and not a lot about the soft skills. And I would say soft skills are at least 50% as important. When I'm looking at a candidate, your soft skills, how you look, how you interact is really, really important. So if you don't have that figured out, I encourage you to take a class or talk to a mentor, get to where you can talk to people, look them in the eye, shake their hand, and be a hard worker. And then you have to be decently smart, and then you can be really successful. This is also kind of what things looked like when I joined. We were doing, these are CDs. So if we wanted to get software out to people, we had to create CDs and ship them. How many are into software? Do you guys, any software engineers here? One. It's really cool. The cool thing about software is that you build it, and there's zero duplication cost, and there's zero shipping cost. There used to be on the CDs. But now with the internet, there's zero cost to replicate. If you're building homes, you build one home. If you want to build another home, you got to build the home again and again. In software, duplication is free, it's instant, and transportation is free and instant. I just got an email today. There's a group using our software, they're gonna do it in Africa. Like, I didn't have to ship my software to Africa. They can just use it like that. It's awesome. And it doesn't break. Well, it kind of does break, but in a sense, it doesn't break. Okay. So remember, have a vision, work hard, take risks. Okay, I got another story for you. How am I doing? Time. 20 minutes. Okay. So let me tell you a story. So I got into Sawtooth Software, and back in the day, right, from the very beginning, we created software that made surveys that run on the web. Okay? You create your survey on this computer, and then you upload the survey to the internet, and then people can take your survey. We've done that from the beginning. But when I joined, this part right here, the server, we told our customers to go out and find your own server, if you can believe it. So they just bought our software. They bought it perpetual. So they just paid, I don't know what it was, let's say $5,000, and they owned our software forever, like buying a house. But we gave them no path to actually publish it on the internet. I mean, this is probably like so crazy to you guys. But like, they had to go out and find their own internet company and then make a deal with them, pay them money, and then upload their files to that server, and then they could run their surveys. So a lot of the things that I believe I've brought to Sawtooth, to me, are just common sense. It's just like, hey, let's provide that server for them. And this is back in the day when that didn't make a lot of sense to my bosses. But I'm like, we should provide that server for them so they don't have to go through the hassle of finding their own company and paying the money and uploading the files. And I would say I work for people that are very conservative and kind of scared, and they don't want to take a lot of risks. So they were just like, should we do that? So me and my buddy at work, we just did it without permission. We started writing code, and we wrote this hosting system that was able to take people's surveys and upload them to a server, and we just started working on it without permission. I'm not trying to tell you to break rules, but sometimes you have to. You have to kind of just do things and get things going. Another principle, was it perfect at first? No. We just started doing stuff, and it got better and better over time. And now for the sad part of my story. People loved it. It was working super great. One day, this is like the worst day of my career. And I have this silly picture here. But one day, I had a file on my computer, and I uploaded it to our system. And it was an old file that it was a pretty innocent mistake. It was like spilling some milk. But I grabbed the wrong file, an outdated file, and I uploaded it to the system. That was my mistake. I still have a horror feeling. The system looked at that and it said, do not compute, I don't recognize this. It deleted everybody's survey on the system and all their backups, and everything was gone. I probably should have been fired. And I couldn't believe the destruction. I just thought, these stupid surveys, what are they actually doing? Well, I found out. One guy was traveling around the world doing surveys on DNA for his thesis and had all this information, and I lost all of that for him. There was 3M was doing a project back east on sound and how military people working next to tanks and loud noises would hurt people's ears. All their data was gone. The Puget Sound bus system up in Seattle area was doing surveys with all their people to improve their bus systems. That was all gone. One thing after another. It was horrible. And so we just we opened up the checkbook and started writing checks to people to pay them back. Luckily, it wasn't catastrophic, but it was really, really bad. I did appreciate in that horrible time, one customer wrote me an email, and he said, hey, we love you guys. You're doing your best. Hang in there. It was like this kind act. You can actually be kind at work. This is this kind act that I will never forget. So that was bad, but those dark days are over, and we got going again. Another story I'll tell you is, there's perpetual software, and then there's subscription software. So perpetual is like you buy a house, you own it, you don't have to pay for it anymore, or something like that. I don't know, probably a lot of other examples. Perpetual is almost like renting. You're paying every single month, the money is flowing. So our whole business was, you buy our software for 5,000 bucks, let's say, you own it forever. We never need to talk to you again. We never get any money from you again. In order to get more money, we have to find another customer. Well, as you know, in today's world, a lot of things are subscription-based. People have to pay for it every year. I don't know if I love that as a customer, but as a business owner, it is fantastic. You want to have people pay you every year for stuff. So we were trying to figure out how to do this. And I pushed really hard for taking this hosting business that I built. Me and my friend, we just started building it. That was now making a lot of money. And I said, we're now going to give it away for free. Well, not free. We're going to bundle it. We're going to bundle that hosting business with our software business and sell it in a subscription. And we need to do this now. It's the way to go. I have a vision. I'm excited. Let's do this. And I argued and argued and argued with my boss. And my boss started saying, well, maybe we could phase into this over 7 years. He honestly said that. And I'm like, no, we need to start this right now. So big, huge argument. Finally, he called me into his office. And I'm like, he's going to fire me. And he paused and he said, you're right. We should do this right now. So I risked, I put my neck out, and it worked. And it worked. All of a sudden, pretty much everybody started paying us every year instead of once in their lifetime. I mean, that was awesome. So awesome story. Just quick story here. One thing I've also done in my career is I use pictures to communicate, right? So 1/3 of our customers live in Europe. We should probably have an office in Europe. And so to try to convince my management, I got a picture of a pie, and this apple pie, and I said, 1/3, this much of our business is in Europe. Let's get in Europe. So 2 years ago, we actually opened up an office in Europe. Okay, so let's talk about vision. Let's just drill into vision a little bit more. Any quick questions before I move on? How much more time? Okay. So for some reason, I really wanted to show this. I probably shouldn't, but I will. Risk. I'm taking a risk. Mission Impossible. It's an old movie. It's a good one, though, if you haven't seen it. And the situation here is Ethan Hunt, our hero, is trying to break into this highly secure place, right? And he's showing how difficult it will be. So I want you to watch this little segment, but I want you to think about how it applies to vision and entrepreneurship, okay? We'll go from there, I guess. So again, he's trying to break into his own government's secret chambers, and he's recruiting some bad guys to help him. So Ethan is the entrepreneur, right? He's basically giving a vision to his team. So look at how all the people are looking at him, and look at his confidence. I just love this part.
One of these systems.
Love it. I love that part, right? The confidence. Woo! I don't know. That just gets me juiced, right? He's just like, we're going to do this. It looks impossible, but we're going to do this. And that vision, that energy, that focus is what you need to be entrepreneurial. You guys seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay. Right. Just really quick here, Elon Musk, right? When you walk into SpaceX, they had this picture of the Mars turning into a place that you can live. Their vision is to live on Mars. I mean, it's crazy, but that's what their vision is. And he reminds them of that constantly. So I'm having to do this, right? Even though I'm not the CEO, I'm having to no one asked me to do this, but I am trying to set a vision for the entire company at Sawtooth and where we need to go and how. And I need to have that level of kind of getting people excited to move in a direction. You usually have to have more people than just you to accomplish great things. Don't have a lot of time here. One of the biggest things that we're struggling right now is to try to move from an older software and to reinvent ourselves, like Sawtooth Software 2.0. We're trying to we've been in business 40 years. And we're trying to reinvent ourselves, and it's tricky. But essentially what we're trying to do is this is what the software that makes most of the money today looks like. It's a little bit old and a little bit intimidating, and it reminds me of being in the space shuttle. Never been in it. but lots of buttons, really complicated. And the vision is to simplify things a little bit, but still have the power. And this is what we're working on. And it's called Discover. And our other product you have to install on a Windows-based machine. It doesn't even work on a Mac. But this is more what you'd expect, like SurveyMonkey and our competitors. It's all web-based, it's easy to use, instantly on. We have students all over the world using it at MIT, UCLA, University of Utah, Michigan State. It's everywhere for free for these guys. And then the idea is when they get into the workforce, they'll pay. So I have this vision. I make people read this vision every 2 weeks when we start our sprint. So we're doing Scrum and doing sprints. And that last line there, this platform will give our users superpowers, enabling them to brilliantly do their work. OK, so have a few more minutes here. I want to talk to you about what we do a little bit. And it's called MaxDiff. Both tools I'm going to talk to you about, MaxDiff and Conjoint Analysis, you can use in your entrepreneurial efforts. In fact, you can use it for free because we allow up to 50 respondents for free. So if you wanted to interview 50 people, free. Want to go over 50? It's going to cost you. You want to teach it for free? You want to teach it for free? It's free, up to 100 respondents per person. So people all over the world, including Google and others, are using MaxDiff to try to build their product roadmaps and other things. So really quick here, let's say that you are selling ice cream and you have a lot of different ice cream flavors, 20. How would you find out which ice cream flavors people like in order to know which ones to make? You have ice cream cart with 5 slots in it, and which 5 are you going to put in there? You could do a survey, and you could ask people to rank what's your favorite ice cream flavor. You're looking through this long thing. And then after you tell us your favorite, we say, what's your second favorite? What's your third favorite? What is your 7th favorite? You know, it's tough. But it turns out I'm trying to do it in a simple term with ice cream, but this is a really common problem. We might have 20, 30 different features we want to put in our software. Which one do we do, and in what order? So MaxDiff solves this problem. This is what we do really well. We take a list of a lot of things, and we break it down into a small chunk. Making things simpler is generally the better idea. And we ask somebody, which one is your favorite, and which one is your least favorite? We're also telling them to do extremes. Give us your favorite, give us your least favorite, right? So favorite here would be cookie dough for me, and least favorite would be lemon custard. Sorry. We know which ones are favorite, we know which ones are least favorite, and we know the ones they didn't choose are somewhere in between. It's a really efficient way to find out what people like. And then they click the next button, and we ask them again, scramble things around. Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? That's all MaxDiff is. In the end, we get a ranked order score of which ones are most important to least important. And MaxDiff also lets us know by how much. So for example, chocolate wins, but look at cookie dough and mint chocolate chip are about the same. So if it was less expensive to build mint chocolate chip, make that one, because people like it just about the same. You wouldn't know that with a ranking question. Anyway, so this exists, we do this in our own company with all of our product features. You can rank order. This is applicable to 1 million different things. And now that I'm in charge of marketing, I'm trying to figure out how to do that. OK, let me tell you quickly about Conjoint Analysis, and then we're going to do a quick demo. Conjoint Analysis, just really quick. Volunteer, raise your hand quick. First row. Which cell phone would you choose? Right here. Which cell phone? Yeah. OK. So Conjoint Analysis is all about bundling things. So we're bundling price with brand. And when you look at that, you have to make a trade-off. You cannot have everything you want. You can't have the best brand for the best price for the best ever. So Conjoint Analysis forces people to make trade-offs. So we ask you what cell phone you want there, and then we scramble everything else around, and now we ask you which one you'd take. What would you say? OK. Some people, as soon as me included, when they see iPhone, they choose it. They don't care about the price. And this is a great thing where we can study how to price products or services. It's called Conjoint Analysis. a lot more I could say about that. But after we get done with the survey, we take it back into a simulator and we just make product concepts. We say, what would people do if I built this product? And the software will predict what people will buy. Okay. Conduit's been used, our software's been used to help build Allegiant Stadium and SoFi Stadium. It's also, these are our minivans. It's also been used to build the sliding doors on Honda Odysseys, et cetera. Okay, how much time?
5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes, here we go. So we're gonna do a live thing. Take your phones out. Why don't you, yeah, we're gonna do this first. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see how fast you can do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first use ChatGPT. And I'm gonna ask it, give me a list of 20 Halloween candy. That's not good grammar, but I'll bet it can figure it out. Let's go. Maybe it didn't understand that. Not working. Okay, well, how about we do one of these, spring break. Okay, so I'm gonna grab 20 spring break destinations, okay? I'm then gonna jump into Discover. Discover is free, like I said, up to 50 respondents. You guys can go home and do it today. It's discover.sawtoothsoftware.com. You can go there and play around with it. So I create a survey called the Snow College Survey, and I'm gonna come in here, I'm just gonna delete this question that I put in there for an example. And I'm going to add a MaxDiff exercise, and then I'm going to paste all these destinations that you can go to for spring break. What is your favorite and least favorite? I am not doing great English there, but you get the idea, okay? Best is the one you want to go to, worst. Okay, so now I'm going to publish it, and then get your phones out, and I want you to take the survey. That's how hard it is. Just paste in a list, and you can go. We've really improved the process. It used to take, it used to take super long to do that. Okay, so there you go. Pull up that survey. Once you have the survey pulled up and start taking it, raise your hand. I want to make sure it's working. You can see the MaxDiff. It's asking you best and worst. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind just cruising through that survey. First one done, raise your hand. Actually, as soon as you get done, raise your hand, everybody. Kind of hard, huh? We're forcing you to make trade-offs. And these surveys are kind of hard because it gives us great information. You can't have everything. You can't go everywhere for spring break. You have to make a choice. You done? What do you want? Sure. Yeah.
Did you say it was discover.sawtoothsoftware.com?
Yep. Yep. Who's the second person done? I got 3 water bottles if you want one of these. Tumblers.
I don't know.
Where are you going? Yeah.
I'm going to give you this. Yeah. Okay, so
I don't know.
okay. Take your time. Okay, this might take a little second to crunch, but any questions, Q&A? No questions about anything I said. Anything? Well, let's look at the survey. So you can't see that very good, but the top one says Maui, Hawaii. That's the winner. And guess what the loser is? New Orleans. Okay? And so I actually ran this quick, so only this is only data from 7 people, and we can get more later. But what MaxDiff gives you is the winner and the loser, but it also tells you by how much, right? So we got a pretty good jump here from Hawaii to Mexico. It jumps off, right? And so that's interesting. But again, looks like Texas and Puerto Vallarta, Mexico is about the same. It's going to go a whole lot cheaper to go to Texas. You know, that is the winner. But like, you know what I'm saying? There's hardly any difference there, and that's what MaxDiff gives you. So hopefully you can see how easy it is and how quick it is to do one of these surveys. If you have a list of anything like greater than 5 items, 10 items, even 7 items works, you could run one of these. So that's it.
Hey, thank you, Justin. We have time for one question. If there's any burning questions.
I'm going to put, if you're interested, yeah, so if you want to email me and you have any more questions, it's justin@sawtoothsoftware.com. Anna, I have no more prizes.
If I had to survey people for what color hoodie they would like,
Yeah, like how many colors are you looking at?
we're looking at about 9. But could I put like the picture of the color on? Or would I just say like this is like?
Yeah, the software supports pictures. So you could have a picture, you could have like 7 different sweatshirts, and you say, do you want this sweatshirt or this sweatshirt? And they can say their best and their worst. And since I'm your dad, yeah, we can do that for free.
I love that your daughter is learning about what you do.
Yeah, she doesn't even know. I had to come to Snow College to tell her.
You got her attention at work.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks, Justin. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.